Hey everyone, welcome to A Voice in the Wilderness with me, Lad from the Woods. Well, today's subject is going to be regarding our truckers' rights and their rights to protest. At first, I wasn't a big supporter of the truckers, and here's the reason why. I support what they say about the mandates. I have supported no mandates for Canadians since the beginning because it is illegal by our Constitution and Charter of Rights. Okay, so if you people go in and look, you will see what our charter does. Now, the other thing I'm having a problem with today is the Ottawa Police, the RCMP, and anyone else that thinks that they have the legal right to remove the truckers from downtown Parliament. They do not. You will notice up in the other corner here that we have something called the Canadian Charter of Rights. And under Section 2B, freedom of expression, everyone in Canada has the following fundamental freedoms: freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. But it also gives them the right to protest peacefully, and they cannot be stopped by our charter and our Constitution. So if those truckers want to spend the next year down at Parliament Hill, okay, so long as they don't stop Parliament or do anything violent or create illegal or do illegal, they can stay there as long as they want. I don't care what the chief of police says. I have fought the Ottawa Police half my life because of the lying, the cheating, and the bullshit. And I can tell you as an ex-biker, these guys are as crooked as any biker ever fucking living, okay? As any cop living. I was a victim of their bullshit, along with other people and brothers that I know or used to know. Anyways, I'm not involved with that life anymore. It's a young man's game. But I still believe in the right to gather and protest. Okay? And what the Ottawa mayor doesn't understand, obviously, because he's a fucking mayor, he obviously hasn't read our charter and our Constitution. Okay? Those guys have that right. Well, those guys, all those protesters have that right. And now I'm with them. I am tempted to go downtown and stand there because Prime Minister Trudeau is acting illegally. He's also painting all these truckers as one brush because of a few bad eggs in there with their Nazi bullshit and all the rest of it. Which, by the way, they have a right to do because we're covered under the Section 2B of the Canadian Charter of Rights. Okay? I don't agree with Nazis. I don't agree with any of that shit. But they have a right to do it under our Constitution. Okay? They cannot stop that. And if they do, then Canada should rise up, the entire country, and put a stop to this. Now, I've called for Prime Minister Trudeau's resignation. He is clearly unfit to be Prime Minister. He is clearly biased, and I don't know who's paying him off or who's whispering in his ear, but he's clearly biased without even talking to these people, okay? First of all, Justin, the mandates are illegal. You cannot force medicine or anything else on people. That's why we support not pro-abortion. That's why we support women's rights to choose. Well, it's the same for guys and everybody else. My body, my choice. I chose to get the vaccination. I am not anti-vaccination. Don't call me a right fucking winger because most of you don't even know the meaning of left, and I'm so far left to you, you all look like Nazis and fascists from the 1930s. Okay? I am what's described as a social-libertarian. Government, keep your fucking nose out of my business, but at the same time, the social part is for people that need help from the government. And on occasion when I need help from the government, such as my health. Okay, which I paid for, okay, and paid for all my life, as is every fucking Canadian, okay? Now, we're not the United States here, so I want this to be very, very clear. This has nothing to do with those assholes down south, okay, even though I'm half American, okay? This is all about Canada, and that's about those truckers who have the right to protest, despite everything, and they are in the right. It is completely stupid to tell a man who has to spend 12, 18 hours a day living in his fucking truck that he has to get vaccinated. Okay? You have no right to do that. Okay, what's next? Are we going to be, what is it, not Goebbels? Who's the one that experimented on everybody, like in the Nazis? That guy. Okay, the Jewish people and all the rest of it, this shit was forced on them. I don't understand the Jewish or Israel or anybody supporting what's going on here in Canada, because they are more experienced in having shit forced on them than any other peoples in the entire world. And now they do it to the Palestinians. So they have a good idea what the fuck that's all about. And they should be on the sides of the truckers. Okay? Because it's not just truckers. It's everyone in this country. Okay? And they have no right to tell me or anyone else that I am forcing medicine on you that I do not or you do not want. It is illegal. It is wrong morally. Okay? We didn't vote for this kind of thing in the government. So I'm calling on Prime Minister Trudeau to resign. Okay? Liberal Party, you can put Chrystia Freeland in temporarily. Tell her that she has to call an election within 6 months, and she needs to defend the Canadian Charter of Rights. Okay? And for these people, okay, their right to protest. And if they don't, then I'm calling on the Conservatives, the NDP, and all the other parties to make the government fall, which they can do. Don't let anybody tell you they can't. One non-confidence motion, they vote against Trudeau, he's gone. And so are the Liberals. Now, I'd prefer that we don't have an election right now. So that's why I'm asking for Chrystia Freeland, who's the Deputy Prime Minister, to step in and have some common sense. Talk to these people. Talk to people like me. Talk to the people on the other side. You don't just talk to one fucking side. You understand? Okay? So, this is what needs to happen. Every Canadian needs to start sending emails to Parliament, to all their guys out there, you know, their parliamentary whatever people. We have Reed here in Lanark. You guys in Ottawa have yours. You guys in Vancouver. You write emails. You pick up the phone and you start calling these people. And you tell them that the federal government and the provincial governments are breaking Canadian law. And believe you me, I have been the subject of Canadian laws, and they didn't take any time to put my ass face down on the ground with a gun to the back of my head back in my day. Okay? Granted, I was a bad boy, and I was breaking the law. But at least I admit it. Okay? I'm not government. Government's supposed to be protecting people like me on either side of the fucking law, but they're not. Okay? And Trudeau is not his father. All you liberals out there and neoliberals that you thought that this was going to be his father, he is destroying his father's legacy. Remember who came up with the Second Charter of Rights and the Canadian Constitution. His father put that stuff in to protect Canadians. And he is now pissing and shitting on his fucking father's legacy. You didn't have to like Pierre Trudeau back then, folks. But what he did with that Constitution protects us. Okay? And this piece of shit sitting in Parliament has no business breaking the law, nor anybody in Parliament. That includes you, Candice Bergen, Erin O'Toole, Jagmeet Singh, that guy, the French guy from the other party, the wannabe People Party. The real People's Party is in the United States, and that's who I will be voting for this next election. Not Democrats and not Republicans. Anyways, we're not going to talk about the Americans this minute. I'll be doing another video on that. Okay, but you guys go read your Canadian Constitution and Canadian Charter of Rights. You tell those truckers down at Parliament that no one legally can remove them from where they are unless they're breaking the law, which I know the government already is. But you can't do what they do. Okay, you have to stay above these lawbreakers and these people who are defying our Constitution. Okay, so bottom line is, they cannot remove the truckers, and everybody should be screaming. And if Facebook tries to censor you, go on to Gab, G-A-B. If Twitter tries to censor you, go to Getter, G-E-T-T-R. Okay? Everybody will claim, oh, they're right-wingers, blah, 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 blah. They're only right-wing because there's right-wingers on there. But there are lefties and social libertarians like me on there too. Okay, so don't let the mainstream media con you. These people are paid by people like Blackstone and the Koch brothers in the States and other big rich interests here in this country. And those big rich interests down south are trying to fuck us here in Canada, just like down there. And you'll lose your health care. You'll have everything that the Americans get stuck up their asses every day. So we need to stop that too, folks. Okay? Believe me, as an American, I can tell you, you have to stand up and stop it now, okay? I think what they should do is pick a date, and millions of Canadians from one end of the country to the other should be down on that Parliament Hill and staying there until they do as we ask, the Canadian people that they're supposedly representing, okay? So, again, I will say this one last time. No law agency in Canada has a right to remove those protesters. It is in our laws. And if they do, then there should be lawyers and everything all over this place. And if they're not, then the lawyers have been bought off too. So I'm looking at you lawyers out there. You need to get on your fucking shit and start filing motions left and right to put a stop to this. And Parliament, you call non-competence motion and get that piece of shit out of government. He is a no-good leader. He is useless. And we need somebody with a bit of smarts like Freeland, and then we'll have an election. And if Freeland gets in again, if she uses her head, so be it. Okay? Peace. And fuck you, Justin Trudeau, and fuck you, Canadian Constitution lawbreakers. From Lad from the Woods, a voice in the wilderness. Fuck you.